So hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the first video of our 3-part mini-series, and the theme is going to be noodles. So this video is going to be all about wonton noodles here in Hong Kong. I'm going to be visiting two places which are actually quite famous in terms of the wonton noodle game, and they're right across each other in Central. So stick around and see what these restaurants are. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel right now, leave a like if you enjoy this video, and feel free to leave any comments regarding my content, maybe some suggestions or ideas for upcoming videos. I really appreciate it. So now let's get on to the video. So the first place we're visiting in this video is Max Noodles in Wellington Street. The place is actually quite luxurious looking. As you'll see on the inside, there's a really nice design going on, and the overall feel of the restaurant is quite modern compared to some other Hong Kong restaurants you may come across. You can see on their menu that you can have the noodles mixed into the soup already, or you can have it separate. So we decided to go with one of each. This is the classic wonton noodles. We also got the beef brisket and beef tendon separated from the soup. And lastly, we had the prawn and black fungus dumplings without any noodles. So the first one I tried was this classic wonton noodle soup, and a common indicator of top-notch wonton noodles. So they put the egg noodles on top of the spoon to prevent it from coming into contact with the soup, which would make the noodles a bit more soggy. And then you'll find that the wontons are at the bottom of the bowl. The soup of the wonton noodles is actually quite fishy, so I think they may have infused some dried fish or dried shrimp into the broth to give it that unique flavor which it possesses. The egg noodles you'll find are quite firm, and I don't think they do the best job at absorbing the flavor from the soup, but it's a nice balance in terms of the chew and the texture. And of course, the highlight of the dish is the wontons. So I actually really enjoyed this one. I think it was just pork on the inside, so it was a nice meaty contrast to what you'll find in the soup, which is a bit more fishy. And you can also choose to add the chili paste which they serve on the side to the dish. I think it gives that third dimension of flavor a nice kick, a nice touch of spice. So I would say it's a really nice addition when you eat your wonton noodles at this place. You can also do the same with your wontons and the noodles. The next one we tried was the beef tendon and beef brisket separated from the soup but in the same egg noodles, and the pieces of meat offered in this dish were really tender. I think they were very flavorful, and they actually mixed in some of the sauce, I believe, which the meat were cooked in into the noodles, so it helped to provide a distinct flavor from that of the first one we tried, which was more of a seafood taste. This one was more of a meaty version. So I think if you want an alternative to the wonton noodles, this one is definitely a must try. And the last dish we ordered was the prawn and black fungus dumplings, these without the noodles. And they had a different broth. It was more of a porky flavor compared to the fishy flavor which you have in the other one. But the dumplings were really good. I think this was probably the best dumplings that I had in this restaurant. So nice contrast of a really fresh, crunchy shrimp and the more subtle black fungus. Nice combination, and like in the previous wonton noodles, you can add some chili paste. It gives a nice kick to the dish. I think this one goes even better with the chili paste compared to the other one, so maybe you get a nice variety of these dishes whenever you come to Max Noodles. Overall, our bill for Max Noodles came up to 167 Hong Kong dollars. And the second place we're visiting in this video is actually just right across from Mac's. This is Tsim Chai Kee, and outside you'll see all their Michelin distinctions and also a copy of their much shorter menu. I found that Tsim Chai Kee was more of a local establishment compared to Mac's, and this could be seen in terms of the design of the place, the layout, and there were a lot more locals coming to the place at this time of the day. As I mentioned, their menu is much shorter, so you can just choose from 1 topping, 2 toppings, or 3. For our drinks, we decided to get their soya milk, and like in the previous video, I really enjoy soya milk here in Hong Kong. Very refreshing, just a touch of sweetness and very natural flavor. For our starters, we had some choy sum with oyster sauce, and their oyster sauce is really strong. Gives a nice flavor to the vegetables, and yeah, a nice way to start the meal or a nice companion to the wonton noodles. So I decided to go all out and order the 3 toppings wonton noodles. This is with the classic wontons, some beef, and the minced fish ball. I think the soup here was more meaty compared to that of Mac's. There's less of a fishy flavor, more of a porky broth. The noodles were quite similar in terms of the texture and the chew, but I felt that overall this version of the egg noodles was better at holding more flavor from the broth. So in the end, it was a more flavorful kind of egg noodle. The sliced beef topping was really good, very flavorful, very meaty, and very tender. I also got to try the minced fish ball, which I actually haven't had before, so I was a bit surprised with the flavor. It's not exactly fishy, but it's a bit more natural compared to those more white fish balls. And lastly, of course, the wonton dumplings, very essential. I think the 3 toppings really complemented each other well. They were different in terms of the texture and the flavor. Wonton dumplings were also very good, very meaty with the pork inside. So I think it was a very nice thing to have the 3 toppings in this set, but you can also choose to have 1 or 2. It's really up to you. And while the other place had more of a chili paste, I think this one is more of a black chili oil. Is closer to an oil instead of a paste, but it's a different kind of flavor as well, less salty and more on the spicy side. Very nice kick once again, gives a new dimension of flavor. So I think really adding chili oil to your dish is a very nice way to step up your wonton noodles in terms of the flavor and the spice. And lastly, I also tried the red vinegar, which they offered at this place. It adds a touch of sourness, another kind of flavor, but I don't think it's very much necessary as the broth is already very good. And our overall bill came up to 111 Hong Kong dollars, much cheaper than Mac's, and probably why more locals come to this place. So that'll be it for this video, guys. Once again, that was part 1 of our 3-part mini-series. Stick around for part 2, which is coming up in 2 weeks' time. Like my normal schedule, it's going to be another nice kind of noodle, which is very delicious. If you haven't yet, feel free to leave any comments below to suggest future content. Once again, I really appreciate all the support, so thank you. See you in the next video.